Welcome, viewers, to the Preaching Humanist with David Oliverio. That is I. I've been gone a couple weeks, taking a little vacation. Got some interesting stories for you. We will keep that for maybe next episode. Episode 10 today. Is the United States of America a Christian country? Boy, I can't wait to get into this one. A wise person proportions the beliefs to the evidence. That was a smart guy a couple of hundred years ago by the name of David Hume. A wise person adjusts and proportions their beliefs to the evidence. Today we're going to bring about facts. No credulity here. We're going to talk about facts. So, is the United States of America a Christian country? I hear it all the time on the radio. I'm screaming at the radio. I hear that our founding fathers were Christians, that our country is Christian. Let's see what facts say about that. Number one, let's talk about the Establishment Clause. Hey, I did not bring my Bible today, so no preaching. Today I'm just going to read you some basic facts. The Establishment Clause is one of several pronouncements in the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. I will quote it for you. This is from 1789, okay? Right after we became a nation, after the American Revolution. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Number one, let's dissect this. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Do you know what that means, Christians? That our United States government cannot respect one religion over the other. It cannot choose Christianity over Islam. It cannot choose Christianity over Hinduism or Buddhism. We are supposed to keep religion separate from politics. That's what the wall of separation of church and state for. You, my dear Christian friends, are not being persecuted. You have rights. In fact, 80% of Americans identify themselves as Christians. That does not make us a Christian nation. Constitution, no mention of God, no mention of Jesus. Nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof. You have your rights, Christians, in our Constitution to believe any crazy belief system you want, any mythological concept, any God, as long as you keep it out of religion. You can go to your church and you can pray to your Jesus. You can go to your prayer closet. You can believe whatever you want. You have the right to do that. But you've got to respect other people's rights as well. This is called the Establishment Clause. The United States government cannot choose and make laws to respect Christianity over any other religion. It's called equal rights, freedom of speech, forming, speaking, and making opinions is called human rights. All right, that was in 1789. And I would always like to see, I remember when my children were back in high school. This was a long time ago, over 10, 15 years ago. And you go to like a high school football game, and there was a prayer, a Christian prayer before the game, which is unconstitutional. If it's a government-subsidized or a state-funded, government-funded school, they're not supposed to bring religion involved in that. But you hear people praying the Christian prayer. What would happen, my dear Christian friend, if a student from that high school stood up who was from India, who worshipped a different God, the God of Hinduism, one of the many gods, and said, all praise and glory to Vishnu or Shiva. All praise and glory to my Hindu gods, Ganesh. What would happen to you Christians? You wouldn't like that, would you? So we cannot respect one religion over the other, and you have your to whatever belief system, how crazy, no matter how crazy it is, you want. That's the freedom and the beauty of this country. Number two, in God we trust. How many times have I talked to Christians and you don't know, you don't understand? Today's education. I'm educating you. Well, David, we're a Christian country. It says on our currency, in God we trust. In God we trust on our paper currency was placed there in 1956, 1 year before I was born in 1957. Prior to that, there was no mention of in God we trust. What was the causation? What caused the government and what caused the people in America in the mid-1950s to have to put in God we trust? My question is, what God? Of course, America, I'm assuming the Christian God, correct? The fear of communistic, godless atheism was the fear. The McCarthy era in the 1950s. So this was a fearful thing for the Christian right, and so they slapped on "In God We Trust." It was never on our original coins or currency. Number 3, the United States of America has a secular constitution. That's what makes us a great country. The Constitution of the United States makes not one mention, not one minuscule mention or anything mentioning God, Jesus, or any other deity or any Bible verses in the Constitution. How many times have you Christians told me we have a Christian Constitution? I'm sorry, people. I want you to go proportion and adjust the beliefs to the evidence. Take the U.S. Constitution and read it. There's no mention of Jesus. There's no mention of the Christian God or any gods, any spiritualism. We are governed by the Constitution, not the Declaration of Independence. Because I know what you're thinking. We're endowed by our Creator, right? We're endowed by the Creator. We're not governed by the Declaration of Independence. We're governed by the Constitution. I encourage you to read a book, people. Read the Constitution. So the Christian right-wing people on the radio, you Christian preachers that are sowing either lies or, I believe, it's just pure ignorance. Because I really think most Christians and preachers out there want to do what's right. They just don't know. And that's what I'm here for. Me and other people try to give you reality and truth based on knowledge and science, the greatest arbiter of truth. The U.S. Constitution, not a Christian document, pure secular. Nature's God, endowed by our Creator, was a God of deism. Our founding fathers were not born-again Christians. Most of the founding fathers were deists. And in case you don't know, because a lot of Christians don't know. How do I know this? I'm a former Christian, a former young preacher, and a pastor's child. I know about this stuff as well as anybody. Deism, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and all the others, most of them, Thomas Paine, believed that there was some creator, an indifferent God with really nothing else other than creation, leaving humankind to their own device, leaving them alone. That was a God of deism. So when it says the God, the creator, they were talking about a God of deism. This was not the Christian God. All right, let's talk about the wall of separation. Thomas Jefferson, January 1st, 1802, wrote a letter to a group of Baptists. Yes, fundamentalist, evangelical, born-again Baptists. He said, to the Danbury Baptists, I quote, he talked about the wall of separation between church and state. Now, Christians, this is to your benefit. You can have your belief systems in your little churches, but you are not allowed to put your religious beliefs. Remember, Congress should make no law respecting an establishment of religion. You are not allowed to put your Christian religious beliefs into politics. That's what the wall of separation is for. It's for your benefit and also people like me, secular, humanist, atheists. Let me read a little quote from James Madison, one of the many founding fathers. And by the way, he wasn't a born-again Jesus guy. Religion and government will both exist in greater purity the less they are mixed together. So that's what the separation church is all about, the wall of separation. Now we shall talk about the Treaty of Tripoli. The Treaty of Tripoli, Article number 11, most of you Christians have never heard about this. That's why I'm giving you this basic, rudimentary, educational time today, for you to go take these facts and research on your own. The Treaty of Tripoli, Article 11, is a treaty of peace and friendship between the United States of America and Tripoli, which is now Libya, a country in North Africa, the continent of Africa. Signed November 4th, 1796. I will quote, the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded upon the Christian religion. It's not in any sense founded upon the Christian religion. How can you misinterpret that? How can you take that and justify and rationalize this as if our founding fathers were trying to establish a Christian theocracy? This is not a theocracy, Christians. I know you fundamentalist Christians want to break down the wall of separation. You want the Ten Commandments to be our law. That's scary. Woo! You will take people like myself, who are atheists, agnostics, secular humanists. You would take Hindus, you would take Buddhists, you would take Muslims, anybody, and even the crazy New Agers. And you would either, imprison us? Burn us at the stake? Do what the Bible says in the Old Testament? Anybody that comes to you with a different religion or different God, draw your sword and kill them on the spot. It's all in the Bible. But no, you've outgrown these atrocities. Most of you Christians have. You've become secularized and humanized. And I'm thankful for that. We will discuss that at a later time. So the Treaty of Tripoli. The United States of America is not in any way or sense formed upon the Christian religious. It is a major secular document and constitution that we stand upon firmly that gives us the freedom of speech. And you can have any belief system you want. But just don't mix it with politics. Don't break down the wall of separation. That's why we stand up against you. That's why I support strongly groups that are fighting against you theocrats, trying to break down this precious wall of separation, church and state. This is not a theocracy. It is a democracy. Now let's talk about some founding fathers quotes. How many times do I have to hear this from the right-wing propaganda, from the conservative movement, from the Christian conservative movement, and evangelicals? Oh, our founding fathers were born-again Christians. We got to go back to the founding fathers. Again, a wise person proportions and adjusts their beliefs to the evidence. How about I give you some direct quotes from our very godly, born-again, Spirit-filled, Jesus-loving founding fathers. Let's see what they said. Founding fathers quotes, and by the way, they were enlightened, free-thinking deists, most of them. They detested Christianity. They detested the Bible in most ways. Okay, they were deists. Thomas Jefferson, my favorite. This would be the best of all possible worlds if there were no religion in it. Christianity is the most perverted system that has ever shone upon man. My dear Christian friends, does that sound like a man who loves Jesus? Does that sound like a man who believes that Christianity and Jesus is the answer to the world's problems? No, because he didn't believe in it. He didn't believe in the Christian mythology. Words from Thomas Jefferson. How about good old Ben Franklin? A historian, a philosopher, a scientist, a brilliant aristocrat and politician. Lighthouses are more useful than churches. Does that sound like a born-again, fundamentalist, right-wing, Jesus-loving Christian? I think not. That was Ben Franklin. How about one of my other favorites? Thomas Paine. I love Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine, I detest Christianity. He didn't say Christians, the people. I use this quote for myself. I detest Christianity as I detest everything else that is cruel, capricious, vindictive, and unjust. He was a thinker, an enlightened free thinker in the 18th century, 1700s, that knew to stand up against any immoral, to stand up against any philosophy that was anti-human, which Christianity is. My country is the world, my race is human, and my religion is to do good. Thomas Paine. Again, Christian. Does this sound like these founding fathers were born-again evangelical Christians? They were free thinkers. They gave you the right to believe whatever you want to. You have freedom of speech, but so do I, just as much as you do. You can believe in the magic man, your invisible prayer buddy in the closet, but Just keep it out of religion. Keep it out of politics. Let's read some more. How about John Adams, one of the major founding fathers? The doctrine of the divinity of Jesus is made a convenient cover for absurdity. The doctrine of the divinity of Jesus, for those of you that don't know what that means, divinity of Jesus was he was inspired and related to the guy in the sky. He was half God and half man. Incarnate. John chapter 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was made flesh, and He dwelt among us. And we beheld the glory of the only begotten Son of God, right? Full of grace and truth. Christians, you believe that Jesus was 100% God, 100% man. John Adams didn't believe that. He said this was absurdity. He might have believed in a moral philosopher named Jesus. Sure, why not? Did he exist or not? Maybe, maybe not. Was his moral philosophy far superior than Aristotle? Was it far superior than other moral philosophers prior to Jesus, such as Confucius? No. My Christian friends, I've got a teaching on that coming up. We're going to compare Aristotle and Confucius to Jesus and see who's more moral. Interesting to find this out. So John Adams, no, he called it absurdity. Does this sound like a founding father who loved Jesus and he was a born-again Christian? I think not. James Madison, my religious motto, be just and be good. Two more and I close. Another one by Thomas Jefferson. We discover in the Gospels, the first 4 books of the New Testament, a groundwork of vulgar ignorance, of things impossible, of superstition, fanaticism, and fabrication. Doesn't sound too Christian to me. Thomas Paine, the Christian system of religion is an outrage on common sense. Folks, I'm just barely skimming the surface. I'm really tired of listening to lies and fabrications and falsities from the right-wing Christian movement and the right-wing political movements that we are a Christian country. We do not have a Christian constitution. We have a secular constitution, which benefits you, God believers, and we, natural believers, who believe in reality. We don't believe in superstitions. It benefits all of us. You can have your crazy belief systems. You can believe in your imaginary friend and talk to him and do whatever you want, as long as it's legal, as long as it's harmless and benign to other people. Keep it out of politics. Keep it in your little churches. It gives you the right to do that. But I also have my rights of freedom of speech, speaking, forming, and giving opinions. I've got a sticker on the back of my car that says that a Christian country America is not a Christian country. It belongs to all of us. It belongs to America belongs to everybody who's an American, right? Whether you believe in a God or a different God or no gods. There's the facts and truth. A wise man or woman will proportion their beliefs to the evidence. I encourage you, dig, my dear Christian friends. Stop listening to the propaganda in your church and the right-wing fanatical talk show hosts, and look at facts. Go read your Constitution. How many times does it mention Jesus, God, and that our founding fathers were born-again Christians? They really weren't. All right? Enjoy these things. Read, learn, expand your mind. Thank you for watching the Preaching Humanist with David Oliverio. That is I. Today was episode number 10. Stay tuned next week for episode 11. I've got another good one for you next week. Remember, the good life is guided by reason and motivated by love. And there's no need for a God. Love, joy, peace, fulfillment, meaning in life, and purpose in life, we can find without a deity. Love one another. Be good. We'll talk to you next week. Have a good day.